America salutes today's innovators in sound. The location? Burbank. The place? Warner Brothers Records. Let's meet some of the folks who work here, in what many Hollywood insiders consider to be Warner Brothers' best-known secret. Why, there's Joanne, and next to her is, Steve. And that's George, no doubt trying to solve a very important technological problem. Well, aloha, Keith. And there's Laureen. Now, before that compact disc hits the manufacturing plant, Helene will make sure that it meets the high-quality standards set by Warner Brothers Records. Overseeing everything is Al. But before we see the different types of quality work that these qualified professionals do, we should say a little something about who it is they work for. Warner Brothers Records, home to the greatest recording artists the world has ever known. From Sinatra to Madonna to soul coughing, the glorious sounds of our nation's greatest tunes have been recorded, mixed, and mastered here. One of the greatest assets to Warner Brothers Records is the music library. It may look unassuming from the outside, but inside, it's a box of chocolates wrapped in gold. That's Steve Lang, General Manager of Library Operations. Assisting Steve is Rick Ramirez, Tape Librarian, and David Areola, also Tape Librarian. Rick is responsible for cataloging and circulating all incoming audio and videotapes, while David is responsible for all incoming archival materials, product samples, and original art. It is here in this state-of-the-art temperature and humidity-controlled vault that Steve and his staff catalog and store all of the original recordings, artwork, publicity clips, photos, merchandising samples, financial reports, and legal documents. The treasures inside are currently being mined on a monthly basis by Warner Archives, Rhino Records, Warner Special Products, and VH1. It's a heck of a lot of responsibility caring for this collection of over 500,000 items, but Steve handles it with logic, precision, and calm. Assisting Steve in the in-house library at Warner Brothers Records is Alan Stanley, Tape Library Supervisor. It is here where all of the master recordings are kept. Alan creates the tape library computer database, catalogs audio and video tape masters, and fills all tape request orders from the in-house studio, mastering studio, video department, as well as studios from around the world. In case you were wondering, Warner Brothers Records was founded in 1958 by Jim Conkling as a way of distributing soundtrack recordings for Warner Brothers Motion Pictures. Now it is one of the top record companies in the world. Right now, Keith Blake, Director of Engineering, is in the process of digitally remastering a greatest hits album for the Yellow Jackets. Since audio mastering is a skill which requires both creative and technical decision-making, this craft is highly specialized and requires years of experience. Keith oversees all in-house audio mastering and production engineering for Warner Brothers Records. As changes in technology occur, Keith constantly seeks and evaluates new and innovative methods to keep the Warner Brothers music sounding current and on the cutting edge. As a matter of fact, Keith worked on Green Day, Take 6, and Emmylou Harris. And working close with Keith is none other than Laureen Brown, Associate Director of Engineering and Studio Operations. This veteran of Warner Brothers Records oversees the in-house studio's production process from initial request to final delivery. Laureen schedules daytime and night shift engineers on a variety of projects, including radio IDs, mastering and editing sessions, duplication orders for advanced CDs and cassettes, and special international and domestic compilations. In such an intense working environment, moments of levity can always be found when employees are confronted with the necessity of having to make do with antiquated equipment. Yet each day's challenge represents the opportunity for creative problem solving. As audio mastering engineer, Patrick Krause is responsible for the last creative stage of the recording process before manufacturing. Working closely with producers and artists such as R.E.M., Elvis Costello, and Morrissey, final decisions regarding overall sound sequencing and editing are made in his studio as a record takes its final shape. Pat also works with A&R, promotion, marketing, and artists themselves to create radio edits, video edits, and clean versions to maximize record sales. Why, look who's updating the console. It's none other than Dennis Giottis, Chief Technical Engineer. Dennis is in charge of all technical maintenance, electronic design, and hardware evaluations. Way to go, Dennis. An equally important team member of the engineering department is Rudy Hill, Senior Production Audio Engineer. Rudy is responsible for duplications, whether it's cassette copies, open reel tape copies, PCM 1630 clones, DAT clones, or CDR clones. Rudy can't fail. While the city sleeps, we find Jonathan Molman, production mastering engineer, working the graveyard shift. Jonathan, an audiophile aficionado, edits, assembles, and masters Warner's diverse in-house and international releases, and he does it all before sunrise. And that's Teresa Caffin, production audio engineer. Teresa helps take a bite out of the late-night duplication orders and quality control checks from outside mastering houses. Vital to the pulse of Warner Brothers Records is Sylvia Morales, engineering assistant, and Jenny Hirschberg, studio production coordinator. These two cheerfully field a staggering number of calls from clients requesting engineering services. And yet, they always fit the client's needs into the already tight production schedule. Finished production work needs to look good as well as sound good, and Jenny and Sylvia work graphic arts magic on a daily basis. These ladies put out such a high volume of labels each day that were it to break down, there could be serious trouble, since it's the only machine in the house of its kind. But we can all breathe a sigh of relief because Old Yeller is up and running again. When it comes to video, pre- and post-production, and duplication, Joanne Leone, Director of Studio Operations, is your gal. She coordinates music video sound packages with production companies, oversees videotape deadlines and financials, and supervises a team that includes Tracy Squire, videotape operator and pop culture maven, who interacts with clients by compiling director's reels that get sent to recording artists, assembles video compilation reels for clubs and record stores, and PAL conversions. And Julie Webb, video queen and editor. Julie handles the quality control for new videos by bringing them up to broadcast standards, which may include closed captioning, re-editing, and repairing audio for airplay. Together, they prep D2s, Beta SPs, and Digibetas for MTV, VH1, and Much Music. Operating together like a tight-knit family always makes for a fun working environment. Hey now, that's Tony Leone. Scheduling. How are you, Tony? Tony coordinates all of the production work, along with heavy phones. She handles all incoming and outgoing mail, as well as invoices for the departments and affiliates. She also tracks monthly expenses for each and every department and affiliate. And we mustn't forget Bill Taylor. Aside from his track record as a successful recording engineer, we are fortunate to have Bill's background in audio to assist us not only as a digital mastering engineer, but as a technical engineer as well. He is currently tending to the video conference room, which connects to Warner offices in London and New York. Bill is a good overall design engineer, and he's also a musician. His extensive background makes him more than ideal for all the types of jobs he supports. Let's see now, I seem to be forgetting about somebody here. Who could it be? Oh, myself, of course. Hi, folks. I'm Joe Sador, digital mastering engineer at the mastering studio here at Warner Brothers Records. This is where I prepare master music tracks and pre-production audio elements for music video, a majority of which are now appearing on your favorite music channel. I also have the ability to do what they call slip to fit. This is where I make a new music track fit the action that was shot to a different music version, or when there was a technical problem. I am currently involved in a project transferring historical music from the vault to digital formats. Well, listen, I'd like to stay and chat, but I'm kind of busy at the moment. I've got to get back into voice character for the rest of this narration, so see you later. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, George Lydecker, Director of Technology Services. George is always making sure that the small satellite dishes and the larger ones are connected to the equipment that will send the original material from the labs to the entire building, studios, or anywhere in the world. George is always in transit, working in several lab areas on new technologies like DVD and DVD-A surround sound, compact discs, and internet delivery. Way to go, George. How about we check in with Margaret Gwynn, National Quality Assurance Manager, and Helene Chaliff, Manager of Quality Assurance. Helene and Margaret perform A/B comparisons against master recordings on all products to verify acceptable quality of each release, including verification of proper sequence and label coupling. Right now, Margaret is investigating a pre-mastering question for WIA manufacturing. Was that strange sound a dropout, or did the singer have a hiccup? These issues must be resolved before manufacturing can proceed. Helene and Margaret also interface with the A&R department to assure their satisfaction with the manufacturing process. Helene analyzes the electrical performances of the CDs to verify consistency between the manufacturing plants. In her capacity as an expert witness for Warner Brothers Records, Margaret assists the RIAA in the prosecution of music pirates. Helene is trying to calm the jangled nerves of a consumer who doesn't understand the functionality of her new Depeche Mode DVD. After a brief consultation, Helene and Margaret are able to solve the dilemma and send the consumer on his or her merry way. In short, these two on-the-go women act as liaison between manufacturing, Warner Brothers Records, and the music-loving public. There's the whistle. But there's still a lot of work to be done, and Al McPherson knows his team is ready to accept any challenge, be it creative or budgetary. Al knows that it takes a lot of innovative ideas and self-sacrifice to be on top in the music business. Al knows that in order for Warner Brothers to remain a leader in entertainment, it must go the extra mile to ensure top quality for its products. The modus operandi here is quick access and delivery. With originality and intelligence, this company creates cutting-edge technology and new delivery systems for the 21st century. As America marches hand in hand into the new millennium, it will be the dedicated team at Warner Brothers Records that will lead us to success.